foundation. We don't build our faith on imagination. Every word tested, every line rehearsed. We go back to the truth, chapter and verse. If it's real, let it stand in the light. If it's true, it will hold up right. Chapter and verse. Read it, believe it, put it to the test. Chapter and verse. Prove all things, keep only what's best. No, not by feelings, not by the crowd, not by the voices that are shouting loud. Line on line, precept first, every truth confirmed. Chapter and verse. If it's spoken in His name, let the word back up the claim. Hey. Chapter and verse. Read it, believe it, put it to the test. Chapter and verse. Prove all things, keep only what's best. Line it up with the word. Search the scriptures, test every spirit. Truth stands written. Chapter and verse. Chapter and verse. Anchor your faith, don't guess, don't assume. Chapter and verse. If it's from God, the word proves true. Chapter and verse. Chapter and verse. Chapter and verse. We don't lean on hearsay or tradition. We don't build our faith on imagination. Every word tested, every line rehearsed. We go back to the truth, chapter and verse. If it's real, let it stand in the light. If it's true, it will hold up right. Chapter and verse. Read it, believe it, put it to the test. Chapter and verse. Prove all things, keep only what's best. Not by feelings, not by the crowd, not by the voices that are shouting loud. Line on line, precept first, every truth confirmed. Chapter and verse. Line it up with the word. Search the scriptures, test every spirit. Truth stands written. Chapter. And verse. Anchor your faith, don't guess, don't assume. Chapter and verse. If it's from God, the word proves true. Chapter and verse. Chapter and verse. Chapter and verse.
Good evening, and welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Pastor Errol Williams here at the Church God of Prophecy in London. Once again, so excited to have the opportunity to learn with you tonight as we serve through the internet. It's Wednesday, the 4th of February. Can you believe it that January is already over and we are first week into February of 2026. Once again, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Hope you had a fantastic day and you're looking forward to winding down tonight and having a wonderful rest. I have a major celebration funeral service tomorrow, and that's I've been preparing all day for. So it's been a great honor and a privilege to serve the family. Well, tonight we're looking art, something really special, I think, and that a lot of people, probably half the world, is involved in, and might be something that you are involved in or might be considering, and that is to do with having your own website type of thing. All right. Well, I want to say welcome to Brother Clive Williams. Is it Clive Williams? Yeah. Bless you. Bless you. Princess Hall, Errol Hall. Bless you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. Pastor Thomas Tullett, appreciate you being here, sir, and everyone else who's here. I really do appreciate you guys lots. Right. Well, let's get started then. Deacon Golden, Stanley Golden, and Sister Golden, my condolences to the family and the passing of such an amazing woman who had made it to 100 years of age. That is truly phenomenal. We continue to pray for the family, and that God will bring comfort at this time. All right, let's pray then, and let's get going. Father, I thank you so much for who you are and all that you represent. You're truly amazing, and I thank you so much for the privilege tonight of using your knowledge, your technology, to reach each other. Pray that you lead, guide, direct, and protect us as we learn together tonight. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, well. Thank you so much for joining us, each and every one of you. Really appreciate your presence here. You're welcome too, Princess. Bless you. And Errol, bless you all. All right, what are we doing tonight? Don't forget, you can talk to me in the chat room, and be delighted to hear from you. I'll be here up until 10, as I have a major engagement tomorrow, and I have a major one on Friday as well. But God is good. Anne Marie, bless you. Where are you watching from? I can't even. Is it you probably are on Facebook then? Good night to you as well. Bless you, and great to have you. All right. Well, let's get going then. And this is a subject that is very, very much, close to me. And I've been engaged in this topic for forever and a day, actually. When websites started back in the early 80s, I have been involved in web design ever since until today. And the actual process, and the development of website has been phenomenal, actually. I must admit, I have followed it all those years, and it's just truly been amazing. So I wanted to speak about website, building your own website. And I wanted to start with something that is very important, I think, is just a brief little outlook, if you like, on technology, because technology is not from Satan. We need to try and figure out the fact that, where's technology from? Technology is not from Satan. Satan has nothing to produce. Satan cannot produce nothing. What Satan does, he takes what God has revealed to us and corrupt it. That's all he does. He's a corrupter. He's a liar. He's a thief, and so on. Satan don't create nothing. He can't, because the earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof, the world and all they that dwell therein. Everything is God. So what God has done, he has placed resources on the earth for us to be creative and to discover what he has put there. So something like websites is not from Satan, even though Satan does use that particular technology to promote his wickedness, it's evil and so on. But all technologies of God, Bible. Satan can't produce anything. all he does, he corrupts what God has given to us. That's all he can do. Now, what is the second thing is, what is a website? That is a very interesting question. So I want to address it from two particular standpoints, because I think sometimes people get the idea that they're not interested in websites, but you are. I'm going to show you in a minute. I hear people say, I don't need a website, but you got one. For example, there are approximately just over 8 billion people on the planet. 8 billion. And I am told, I don't know how true the figures are, that over 5 billion people are involved in social media. I don't know how true that is, but that's just under 70% of the world population. So if you've got a Facebook account, you know, a website is your presence on the internet. That is it. You have a website, but you are the difference between that website and the one that you would probably build is a matter of restrictions. So you have to live by the rules and regulations of YouTube and Facebook and all these different places where we have our presence. I looked at TikTok recently and I was blown away with the amount of people that's on TikTok, on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. It's ridiculous, the numbers. So some people are selling their products on YouTube, some are selling it on Instagram, some are even doing so on TikTok and various different social media platforms. Some are doing it within Amazon. So the point I'm making is, if you have a particular presence somewhere on the internet, then you already got a website, so to speak. Does that make sense? But you are restricted by the rules and regulation of those social media platforms. So if you make certain mistakes or if you violate their rules, then they have the right to take you off it. And rightfully so. If people are misbehaving and they're not behaving properly, you got to take them off. So a website then is your presence on the internet. Now, I'm not going to be speaking tonight about social media and how you can become more engaged in social media. That's for another time. But this tonight is about people who want to have their own control over what they do on the internet. Because when you're on Facebook and all these other social media platforms, you are restricted and you have to abide by their rules and regulation, which I don't disagree with, by the way. So a website then is your presence on the internet. The third thing I want to say is this, is that let me, Pastor Dylan, welcome. Let me do something here. I think that I want you to think for a moment what your email address is. What is your email address? Okay. I was going to ask you guys to type it into the chat room, but what a mistake that would have been. All right. Let's say you have an email address. I'm going to see if I could write it at the top here. Let's say you have an email address, which is Errol. Okay. My pen is not writing as fluently as I would like. So it's Errol at G. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, let's try again. Errol at G. Yeah, I'm having trouble here. I'm having trouble. All right, let me just say it. It's Errol at Gmail. Well, that should have been a G. Don't know where that comes from. Errol at, try again, Gmail. Dot. I'm trying. All right, I think I got there in the end. Let's say my email address is errol@gmail.com. Right. The question is, who am I promoting? Am I promoting Errol or am I promoting Gmail? You may have an email at name@aol.com, or it might be at hotmail.com or hotmail.co.uk, and so on and so forth. Well, let's say, for example, you've had an email address for 10 years. Well, you've been given free advertising to Gmail for 10 years, and they have not paid you. And I guarantee you they did not even email you and say thank you. This is my third point. So you are giving away free advertising to Gmail, Hotmail, AOL, and all these different email platforms, and you're not getting paid for it, and you're not even getting a thank you. That don't make no sense to me. So let me then go to and show you what I'm talking about. Right. So I'm now on the internet somewhere, and I'm just going to go to my website. So my website is errolwilliams.org as an example. Okay. I think it says I cannot be reached because I didn't put the W in. That's amazing, isn't it? Right. So my email address is errol@errolwilliams.org. So in other words, this is my presence on the internet. So if anybody wants to find out about me, they would come to my website and read up about me. That's what people do. So people who want to find out about me, they come here and my profile. And so what I've done basically is put a really big face over here. They click on that and it takes them to my profile. And they could read about me and what I do and get my books, and if they want to as well, they can actually book me for training and development and all that kind of stuff. I buy my books, and you've just entered into my world, Errol's world. Okay, now I'm talking about emails. By having your own website, which you would have your own domain name, that means that you would be able to have your own email address. So rather than promote Gmail, Google, and all these other places, Yahoo and all of that, and giving them free advertising, you could be easily, let me say that, let me just bring up my, let me just bring up a Word document here that might help me a great deal. So I'm just going to type in something so that at least you can follow me as I go forward. What it's done is that as soon as I open up one page, it just open up all the others. So just getting rid of these for a moment. Okay. Cancel. Let's do file. You ready? And new. Okay, here we go. Right, so that didn't work. Let's try again. If at first you don't succeed, try and try again. Let's see if it worked this time. Okay, here we go. Just wanted to have just a page. So the point I'm making is that if you have your own website, you could easily So what I have just done there, I have created my own email based upon my domain, which is Errol Williams right here. You can see. Let me just, So rather than using what it's doing, actually is going to my email to actually, because I've actually clicked on the link. So it's actually saying, okay. So the point I'm making, my third point is this: is that you are using the Gmail, you're using AOL email or Yahoo and all of that. You've been promoting them for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and you're giving them free advertising, and they're not even giving you a thank you. That doesn't make no sense. That seems to me to be unwise, personally. Okay, so that's one advantage of having your own domain name. Okay, so we spoke about we're talking about websites. Okay, now as I mentioned before, there are over 5 billion people that's using social media at the moment. So if you are in social media, you already have a presence on the internet. Okay, so a website really is your presence on the internet. The point I'm making about having a presence on social media and the difference with having your own website is that you have to go by the rules of those who run that social media platform. But when you have your own website that you create, then you have control over that. Does that make sense? So one of the great advantages I just mentioned is having your own email address. And you can have as many as you like. You can have Jane at your whatever, Peter, Matthew. You can have as many as you want within your account and so on. So as I gave the example here, my website is referred to as www.errolwilliams.org. So that's my website. And so I've created an email at errol@errolwilliams.org. And you can do the same as well. Now, the next thing that you need to work on is a domain name. Okay, and let me give you an example of this. Now, I'm going to go to the website that I always use, and it's called 123reg. 123reg, and 123reg.co.uk. So this is the company that I use to purchase any domain names that I want. Okay, so you can actually use GoDaddy. You can use different ones. I've been using 123reg since I started way back, and I got used to them, and so I stay with them. So you can come to a place like this, and let's say, for example, you decided that you're going to have a website, okay? But you need what we call a domain name, which is really your address. So I live at Roundwood Road in London, Willesden, whatever. So that's where I physically live, but my address on the internet is your domain name. So your domain name is your address. So when someone says, what is your address? They're asking you for what is your domain name. Now, I'm going to make up a domain name just here. I'm going to call this website I'm building tonight. I'm going to call it Great Peace. I don't know if it exists. So I'm going to use it GreatPeace. I'm going to use Great Peace and see what I'll come up with. I don't know if somebody has that already. Right. So what you can see here, which is interesting actually, you've got greatpeace.co.uk. And for the first year, it's $3.99 for that. So if I purchase greatpeace.co.uk, I could then call my email address errol@greatpeace.co.uk. So every time I send emails out, I'm promoting greatpeace.co.uk. That makes sense to me. However, if I scroll down here, there are other extensions that I can use for Great Peace. So I can have greatpeace.uk, which is a great one. And I only have to pay 1p for the first year, 1 pence. And then the second year I pay $12.99. So to have a domain name is wise. Now, you can have a domain name, but you have not built your website and still use your domain name for your email address. Does that make sense? Okay. So in our local church, for example, our website address is cogop.com. Okay. It's cogop.com. Here it is. This is the website here. And this is where I am doing the live streaming from. So if I click this particular button here, you're probably going to hear my voice. So we're live. Okay. So I'm not showing you that. So what we have done is that we have set up quite a few email addresses. So I've got errol@cogop.com. That's one of my main email actually that I use in the church. So for our media department, we've got media@cogop.com. And we've got many others. Okay. You can have so many. You could have hundreds if you want. Okay. And that is the beauty of, even if you're a local church, you can set up email accounts for all the people in your church. And so when a person now, let me just show you how it works. And you don't even have to have the website to do that. You just have the domain name. So if I go back now to the domain here, right, I shouldn't have done that. So if I go back to my website, cogop.com, if I want to get to my email account, I just type in webmail, and it gives me this login details. So I can go into media@cogop.com, and I'm going to see if I remember the password. I don't know. Yeah. So you know, in this case, you go to webmail. So it's a webmail account. And the beautiful thing about this webmail account, yes, I did remember it. The beautiful thing about this webmail, there's no advertising, that goes on in it. And it is as powerful as AOL or Gmail or any of those accounts, by the way. I'm not going to go into all of it. You can have your forwarding, you can forward it. And I mean, there's so many auto stuff and things like that. It's clean. It's beautiful. It's no advertising. And there are different form of templates that you can use as well, different webmails and so on. But this is the one that I use. And I use it for a lot of accounts. Okay. I use it for my Errol at errolwilliams.org. I use it for the cogop.com and so on. And this works beautifully. So if you've got a domain name, but you don't have a website, you can use your domain name to set up your email address. All you have to do is go and watch a few videos on YouTube, and that will show you how to do that. Okay. Now, going back to your domain, depending on what domain you decide to have, you can see that it's just 1p in the first year. And in the second year, you pay $12.99. And the third year, $12.99, and so on. But you can use this for so many different things, and that becomes your domain name. I like that, actually. Greatpeace.uk. Now, back in the day, you used to have greatpeace.org or greatpeace.com. I don't see .com. Yeah, it's here. It says greatpieces.com. So they've got different connection. I don't think the connection matters as much as it used to do 20 years ago. So .com was to do with company, .org was to do with organization. .net was to do with internet. But I don't think it matters now at all, really, from what I have seen, because there's so many names that's being used up, so they got to get different extension to actually further the domain market. So once you've got your domain, and you can use your domain for your email, even though you have not yet set up your website, that is amazing. Another thing you got to ask when you're doing a website is, what is your purpose of doing the website? What is it that you want to achieve? Do you want to sell something? Do you want to just have a presence? What is it you want to do? So it's very important that you establish the why you're doing it. And you may ask yourself the question, why are you on TikTok? Why are you on Facebook? Why are you on Instagram? Why? And once you answer those questions, you can move forward. If you don't answer the question, I don't think you should move forward, personally. Maybe you want to set up a traveling business. Maybe you let's do something funny here. Let's do something interesting. So I'm gonna go to my assistant and ask my assistant a question or two. And my assistant is called ChatGPT. Okay, ChatGPT. Right. Now, I want to ask my question to my assistant. Okay, let me see if that's gonna work. Yeah. I'm starting now in website design, a website business. I want to run a website. What are some of the businesses or initiative? Give me the top 10 reasons why people have a website. Give me the top 10 reasons why the top 10 businesses on the website. The top 10 businesses. I like to create a website like this. Top 10 business on the website. Let's see what it comes up with. Actually, I think that would be quite fascinating to know what the top 10 businesses are on the internet, because maybe I want to set up a website doing exactly that. So okay, well, it gave me something different to what I asked, actually. 10 reasons why people have a website. Credibility and trust. That's a good one, actually. You have a 24/7 online presence. I think that's good. I think that's amazing. So credibility and trust. People know who you are. They can read up your bio. They can contact you. I think that's credibility and trust. Having a 24/7 online presence. That's good. Number 3, marketing and branding. Maybe there's something you want to market, you want to brand, you want to sell. Okay, lead generation. This is another way that you can collect leads, collect people's emails, addresses, and communicate to them. You can sell online and collect payments online, which is something that I do as well. So I sell my books online and so on. So you can sell online. You can showcase your work, whatever work you do. You just want to let people know what you do. That's what a lot of people do on Facebook, isn't it? And Instagram and these places. Customer support and information. It says here, frequently asked, contact pages, guides, reduce back and forth. Search engine feasibility, which is good. People search your site, shows up and get business. Control over your platform. This is what I was saying earlier. And like social media, you own your website 100% or completely, but you don't own, what you do on the social media. Scalability of websites, growth with the business. And then it gives me the top 10 businesses that need a website. Maybe you're a small business, e-commerce business, freelance and creatives, coaches and consultants. I don't think now you can operate without a website as a business. Real estate agents, healthcare and wellness providers, contractors, home services, startups, online brands, landing pages. You can have just one page, and that's the website. And non-profit as well, like the churches, donations. You can collect money online and things like that. So once you got your why, and now you got your why, and then you've got your domain name, you're ready to move on to the next step, which is what we call hosting. Hosting. You need somewhere where your site lives. Now, I'm going to use one company that I love. And they're called SiteGround. I mean, I do get affiliate, but I'm not selling them today. Right. Now, SiteGround basically is amazing because they are a great company. I've had no challenges with them. In fact, our site is held with SiteGround, and there are many other, hosting companies out there. I find that for what we do, SiteGround is really great. So, because we use a system called WordPress, then we will look at hosting for WordPress. Okay. And I want to show you as a starter. Now, our church, for example, Church of Prophecy, we have a different kind of system that we use. And the reason for that is because we're a big website. So your site is not going to necessarily be as big as that site in terms of what we're doing. So you don't need to run to a plan like what we've got, but a plan like what I'm going to show you is most perfectly okay. And it starts from $199 per month, but you do need a host. A host is where you set up your business. They hold your website, and all your files and videos and photos and text is on that particular site, SiteGround. So they've got so many servers. You're actually renting a part of that server where you can actually store your details and have your business information. So they do have various plans, and you can see, for example, all of the hosting companies do this as well, and they have what we call a startup plan. But the only thing to bear in mind is with the startup plan is the first point at the top is that you can only build one website with the $199 plan, which you can start there and then grow. But if you plan to have more than one website, for example, then you'd have to go to maybe the $399. So I'm going to stay with the $199 for the moment. And one of the key things that you need to watch out for is SSL, which is really a security feature, and that's free. And some hosting charge you for that, but SiteGround give free. And I think most companies do that. Also, it says here free email. Create professional email addresses with your own website domain at no extra cost. You can create as many accounts as you need. Access them using a friendly webmail interface, which I showed you before. Create forwarding. So let's say, for example, I use Outlook. And I use Outlook. So basically, I forward my emails to Outlook. So I manage them in Outlook rather than managing it in webmail, even though I have that facility. So you do get a lot of information with that. So if you select this plan as an example, and let's say I was going to go with Great Peace, isn't it? .uk. Well, interestingly enough, sometimes when you go with a host provider, they sometimes give you the domain free for the first year. So if I go to that, it says you have errored. Okay, new domain, existing domain, new domain. You're great. This domain extension we're free with this plan. Okay. You get this domain extension worth $14.99 free with this plan. Oh, is it asking me to do that one? Let me see. I'm trying to see if it's a new. Okay. I was wondering what it was doing. Now, I think that what they're doing is that is the domain great piece is available for 1 year free. So I don't. Well, it was 1p over in it was 1p for in the other place, but you can buy it with your host as well, and they're giving it to you free for the first year. That is kind of them. You fill out all your details as an example, and you can decide, well, I'm only going to do the 12-month deal. Well, basically you can have your website for 28.66. I mean, that is incredible to start with. Or you can decide, well, you know what, I'm going to go for the 24-month deal, and then it goes up to $5.99 per month, and then the price is $172. But me personally, I would most definitely start with the 12-month deal and just pay $28.66, and off I go. So now that you know your reason why, let's go back to my sheet of paper here. So you know your domain name, you know your why, right? You know your why. In other words, your reason for having this website. Now we've got our hosting company. Once you've got your hosting company, that was just an example I was using here in terms of email addresses. I'll just put that up here as an example of emails. Right, now, just to recap a bit, we're talking about websites. That's what we're talking about tonight, how to have your own website. I made mention that over 5 billion people are using social media. So you do have a presence on the website. So a website really is your presence on the internet. That's really what it is, okay? And many of us, we do have our presence on the internet, say places like social media, which is the point that I'm making here. So on social media, your own website is that you're restricted to what you can do on the social media. But on your own website, you can do whatever you like, okay? That's the point. I mentioned that, we've been using Gmail and all of that. Now, the interesting thing about Gmail now is that you can't have a YouTube account without a Gmail account. So I have a Gmail account, but I just don't use it because I got my own email address. But they forced me to open up a Gmail account in order to have a presence on YouTube. Okay, so that is okay. But you can have your own email address. You can have your own email address right here, own email address, and control it with all the people in your church, in your family, and just give them an email and they're just going. I use the example of my own personal email that I use for my website. So you've got your you've got your information there. So you've got your domain. Okay, this is key. You need your domain. Your domain is key. And then your why is key. Can I begin to explain how important that is? And now you got your hosting company, which is whichever one you choose. I'm recommending SiteGround. Okay, now let me just stop there for a while and let me just come back to have a look at if there are any questions from you in the comments at this stage. So let me just double back. Georgia, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate you being here, and everyone else is here. Don't forget, if you have any question, do put it in. You're welcome, Sister Golden. Evening to you, Pastor Delaney. Good evening to you, and Sister Maureen. Bless you, and everyone else. Now, let me know if there's anything that you want to know, because there are so much things happening in the internet. It's unbelievable, and you may or may not be interested in websites, but if you're in social media, you are, because you got a presence on the internet. I think a lot of people shy away from the fact that they could be easily what's the word, using the internet, their own power, for different reasons and so on. Okay, let's go back to the internet. Now, I want to move on to another stage. And now that you've got your domain name, you know the reasons why you're doing this, you've got your hosting company. The next step is to look at how you're going to go about designing your website. Okay. And so this is very, very powerful. Now, I'm just thinking of something here. Okay. Let me just what I need to do, basically, I'm going to try and see if I could show you the more, like, if you like, the back office, because we here use the most powerful platform on the internet, which is known as, you got it, WordPress. That's the one that we use. There are many others, but WordPress has the biggest use cases in the world. Okay, on the internet is just that huge. So that's the reason why we use we use that. That's how we operate. So what I want to show you is two main things I want to show you in regards to WordPress, and making sure that you gain the great advice here. But here's the thing that I strongly advise is, for those of you who wish to do this, is to watch a few videos. Watch a few videos on YouTube. That's what I do. I watch these videos on YouTube. That's how I survive. Okay. Now, so we use WordPress. This is the back office of WordPress. Okay, this is the back office of WordPress, and it gives you certain information based upon how you set your situation up, and it really is a powerful thing. Now, WordPress is free. So you bought your domain name with your web hosting for under £30 for the first 12 months. And that's all you bought. So WordPress now is free. So you've got your website, your domain name for under £30. And you can now set up your own email system and that of other people in your church. And you haven't even paid £50 yet. So this is the back end of as I say, all depends and how you set up your back office. I'm not necessarily go to them, but they do have a default dashboard, which is what I'm going to now. This is normally what you would see in reference to it, but you can customize your dashboard to how you want. So this is saying on this particular website that I'm managing, there are 5 posts, it's telling me, and 11 pages running on WordPress 6.9, and I'm running a Divi theme, which I'll come to in a moment. So basically, WordPress is just the platform on which you're going to build your site now. In other words, it's like your foundation of your house, and you're going to put things on top of that foundation. Okay. So inside here, there's some information as to what you need to do, where you can go, how you can do things. And because I use SiteGround, they give me certain security optimization and speed optimization to make sure that my website is secured and also running securely. And as I said again, just wanted to say again, WordPress, there's Wix, there's WordPress, and there are many others. So WordPress is like cornered around 70% of the market, okay, in terms of website. So most website you see that you go to, most of them is really WordPress, websites. And one of the reasons is that WordPress has so much different what you call plugins and themes. So if I, for example, let me go to just give you an example, because you're going to need a theme to work with. So I'm using what we call the Divi theme. It is just amazing. I've been using Divi theme forever. So the Divi theme now is the tool that I use on top of the foundation and put all the colors and photos and everything in its place. And I'll give you an example in a moment. And it's a paid one, but you don't need to use a paid one. It's what we call a premium theme. And I bought this once back, maybe 20 years ago, and I don't need to buy another one. And I've not bought another one since I bought Divi many years ago. But the great news is there are thousands and thousands and thousands of themes that you can use. I mean, the list just goes on. And I'm scrolling. You can choose any of these, and all you have to do is customize it. You don't even have to have an expert do it, because the theme makes you look like an expert. And these, a lot of these themes that you see, they're free, these ones, and you can use these ones. Let's preview this one, for example. It says, giving me a feel of it. Home. Right, maybe, yeah. It's just giving me a feel of some of it, which is not what I'm interested in anyway. Yeah. This might be like a blog page. Yes, a grateful gold blog. That's the name of this one. That's a blog, and then you've got different other things that you can, if you like it, then you can install it right up here. So you can go through all these different themes. I think I went through that one. Let's have a look at this one here, which is where I was just here a moment ago, isn't it? This is the about page, parent page. Okay, let me check something else and see. This is not a bad one. So I could install this, and all I have to do, if you like this kind of look and feel, which seems pretty good actually, all you have to do is change the pictures, the photos, change your wording. Just change your wording. These are just, words that they've made up. Put the different icons if you're not happy with these one. Change your color scheme to your particular branding color. And off you go. I mean, that is amazing. And that's how I do it sometimes. I can do it from scratch because I know what I'm doing. Or you can actually just just choose. And the point I'm showing you here is that you just have a world of templates. And what is best to do sometimes is, let's say you are into gardening. You just search for, gardening and look it up. I mean, this is fantastic. Unbelievable. Someone has done the work for us, isn't it? I mean, that's amazing. I think that is kind of cool. Maybe you're into, let's do another one. Maybe you're into sports. Let's see if there's anything on sports. Wow. So many things in sports. The list just goes on. And that's just to show you how huge, WordPress is. As I said, the WordPress is the largest. And it's an open source and it's free. So these templates are free. Okay. Not only do you use templates as you kind of like your kind of building block and painting up the place, but you have another thing that when you use in WordPress called plugins, and plugins just add functionality to the website. Okay, it just adds, maybe you put in a fridge in, or you put in a microwave, you know what I mean, and you want something to work a certain way, then you come to plugins, and these are plugins that I have. I don't have many plugins. I'm just going to update my membership. This is a membership plugin that I'm using. It's really powerful, but it's a paid one, by the way. This one up here is a scripture tag. So if there's any scripture on my page, it will then allow the visitors to just, see what the scripture is and things like that. Now, in the plugin section, I'm going to add a plugin here. Look at this. You got popular ones that is most used. You can see like Elementor, which is also can be used within WordPress. Look at that. 10+ million people are using this. That means that, and it was just updated 1 hour ago. So that is amazing. The SEO here is over 10 million. Now, over 10 million could be 20, 30, 40 million. I don't know. But that's huge. Contact form, if you want people to contact you, that is huge. And these are free. Some of these are free. Okay. And the list just keeps on going. It's just, that's page 1 of 1,579 page, but there's 56,817 different plugins. And these plugins do different things. Some of them are similar and so on. Okay, so WordPress, which is the platform upon which you would build and store your pictures, your text, your images, and so on. You'll store it here. So you'll have a media library, for example, and these are things that you put within your media library so that you can actually add it to wherever you want to put it, and so on and so forth. Okay, so it's all stored there and so on. And then your theme, which is your that you use to build and put everything together, and your plugins is what give your website certain extra functionality, and free as well. So everything's free so far. So WordPress is free, the themes you get free, and the plugins you get free. There are some plugins that do extra functionality. You'd have to pay for those ones if you want to step out to that particular one. Now, I've used a lot of free ones before, but because I wanted a little bit more extra oomph, as it were, I don't know if that's a good word, a little extra oomph. I'm going to create a page. So I'm going to create a page. So I'm going to call this page Great Peace. Okay, that's the page I'm going to call it. Now, because I'm using a premium theme called Divi, at the moment, Divi is upgrading, and they're doing a massive upgrade this month, actually. And I've been waiting for it for nearly 2 years, to tell you the truth, in great anticipation. And I want to update all my website to the Divi, but I can't. But what they did say, however, is that I could run Divi on a new site. So this is what I'm doing now. So I'm going to go in and use the Divi builder. So I'm using a premium theme to do this, and this is incredible. The speed of it is unbelievable. So this is a new website I've been playing around with, messing around with, and all kind of amazing stuff, and so on and so forth. So as you can see, I started with a blank sheet, but I could, if I want to, just add some pages into this that is already made. So as I said, it's a new thing, and I've been messing around with it, playing around with it, and seeing how I can do this. Now, I'm clicking this button over here because it gives me the opportunity, if I want to install on this page a pre-made layout. Okay, I could also install a layout that I've already created, or I can build with AI. Simply describe your page, sit back, relax, and let Divi AI build it for you. That's the new thing, brothers and sisters, where your website can be built using AI. So all you have to say to AI is, I'm running a gardening business, and I'd like you to create this page for me about gardening. It creates the text, it creates the photos, it does everything for you. I won't give you a demonstration tonight, but that's what it does. But I just wanted to look at the pre-made templates that we look at. So if you remember, going back to the free templates, they had over 50,000 or so of them. That was plugins, actually. But what Divi has done, they've also created their own templates that I can use. So, for example, I could come through here and say, well, let me look for something specific. So it could be, maybe I'm looking for art and design. And so they show me all the art and design one. Maybe I just want to see the business ones and look at how good these are. So I can click on one of these as an example, and I could just have a live demo as to how this looks. And I think this looks pretty cool. I think this is really professional. So let's so what I can do, I'm just gonna use this one. I think this is an amazing one. He said this layout contains global design. I'm going to say, import them. Global presets is just a term for us designers, actually. So what I'm doing is I'm installing this page within my page. So this is the page. So all I have to do now, this classic example, I could just come in here, for example, where I've got Divi Law, and just put Errol A. Williams. And it could be Errol Williams. Let me see this. great peace have they that love God's law. I think I like that. Great peace have they that love God's law. Um, I'm just using that as an example how you can easily just change up the text, and before you know it, put in your own picture here if you want, and before you know it, you got your website. So let me preview. I'm going to save it actually. I'm going to save it. I like that particular, I like this actually. I really like the colors as well. So I'm going to just do a preview as to how it looks. This is how it looks on my website. This is literally it on my website. This is it. I mean, I just change up the names and all of that stuff, and I think I'm going to do something with this. I like this. I don't know what I'm going to call it. Yeah, I think this is cool. Change a few of the icons here, and yeah, I think that's cool. I love the colors. I think it's beautiful. Now, I'm just giving you an example of the possibility, and the great thing about using a theme like this is that you're building on what we call the front end. So I'm building what people see, and if I want to, I can look to see, well, right, is this user friendly for people who are on the phone? And this is how it would look at the moment for people on the phone. Does it look okay? If not, then I will change it. This is how it would look for those on the tablet. This is how it would look. And I could change that. And this is how it would look on the desktop. So all of that can be changed. So I can work on making changes for the for the mobile. And if I change, for example, let me see if I can change this. I'm going to see if I can change something here. Let me see. Now I was trying to see if I could change the background, but it doesn't seem to come up with module settings. Let me see. I'm not finding the one I want at the moment. I'm not sure where that is. But let me change the text at least. Okay. So I'm just going to put button text here. Just see something here and see whether or not that changes. So for example, what I've just done, just as using as example, is that on the tablet, you will see scheduler free consultancy, but on the same thing on the phone, it would be, say, error. So you can actually manipulate the one to show different things. So you can show something different on the phone as to what you would show on the iPad as to what you show on the desktop. I'm just using that as an example. And if I change the colors, that would have been the same thing as well. So it's just to show you what is possible. And so let me come back home and just to see if there are any questions or any comment. I just wanted to give you a feel for what you can possibly do. And I just want to run back over a few things so that people are clear before I leave. Everything looks difficult. Everything looks difficult before you get into it. For example, the first time I drove a car, it was difficult. I didn't like it. It was exciting, but I couldn't get my brain to synchronize with my feet, my hands. I just couldn't get my brain to. The first time I drive, I couldn't. I just drove around the whole block in one gear. I just couldn't do it. But now it's amazing how easy it is to actually drive for those of us who have been doing it for many years. But doing a website ain't difficult. I want to reiterate again. Most of us, we got social media presence in various different social media platforms. So a website really is your presence on the internet. That's really all it is. And your presence on social media, you have very little control over, if at all any. But on your own website, you have major, major control. The advantage of having your own domain name is that you can have your own email address rather than promoting Yahoo and AOL and all that. That doesn't, to me, doesn't make sense. They don't even appreciate and thank us, and they don't share the profit with us. So I decided a long time ago, I'm not using, those emails to promote them, and they don't even give me anything. And yet they're using the account to do their advertising. So that's how they make their money, which is quite clever, actually. I think it's a great way to make money. So the other thing I talked about is, why would you want a website? And there are various reasons that I shared, but you have to decide what it is that you want to do with a website. But again, it's your presence on the internet. So I showed you where you can, buy a domain name for free with a hosting plan, and you only pay around under £30 for the first year, and you got this massive advantage that's ahead of you. So you do need a domain, your why, you do need your domain name, and you do need a hosting plan. And in other words, the company that's going to host it on their server, because you don't have your server. If you had your own server and you know how to configure it, then you don't need no one else's server. So you're paying them to keep your information on their server. So you're renting a little space, if you like, in their server. Once you've got the hosting, you got to decide what platform you're going to use. I'm recommending WordPress. It's the most, I don't know if it's the easiest because I've never tried all the others, but it's the biggest one out there. It's got such a large, vast array of free templates as well as free plugins. Remember, a theme is what you build the website with, is what you use to build the website. The WordPress is the foundation upon which you're going to build, but the theme is what you use to put everything in its place and so on. The plugins is what gives your website a little bit more functionality. Okay, that's what it does, a little bit more functionality and so on, which is very useful, actually. So you don't have to build it from scratch. I'm not going to show you tonight. I'll show you another time. You can let AI do it for you, and so on. And maybe one day I'll tell you about another system around the AI that is absolutely mind-boggling. The final thing I'm going to say, because I should have gone already, is that I checked today, and I'm told that there are over 1.34 billion websites created, but only around 260 million is updated and looked after. So most people who build websites, it just left dormant anyway. They don't go back to it. They don't do nothing with it. It's just there until their domain name runs out or until their plan runs out and so on. So only around 250, 260 million people are looking after their website and so on. And I say that to say this is that if you're going to have a website and you're not going to maintain it and look after it, then it's a waste of your time and your money. So you can do it yourself, or you can get somebody else to build it for you, who would be very glad to do it for you for price. And there are lots of those people around who can do that. I really only had an hour just to show you that and to say that's something that is very useful. And even if you had a domain name, but you didn't have a website, you can use it, as I said before, to manage your personal email address or your business email address rather than relying on, huge, Hotmail and all kind of stuff. Well, I'm going to stop there. I don't think there are any questions or any comments for me. Just checking. Greetings, Brother David. Bless you. I'm going to stop there because, as I say, I've got a funeral tomorrow, and I'm going to go at this juncture. But it's been a pleasure meeting with you guys, and wish you guys all the best. I'll be back here on Sunday for our Sunday service, and I'll also be back here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. So once again, thank you so much for joining us. I do appreciate all of you being here. It's been an honor and a great privilege to have you with us. Now, I did mention I'm going to end with this music from David McLean. And as I said, this guy is amazing, absolutely amazing artist. And and I said to him recently, actually, please don't forget me when you make your millions. Just remember me. But I don't want you to just to remember me in terms of, memory, but do remember me. But he's my cousin, actually, first cousin. His father and my mother were brothers and sisters. My mother was the older one, and his father was an amazing deacon. His mother comes to the local church I pastor, and so on. So David creates his own music, sings music, he writes, he do everything. Even in the entire family of musicians. So I'll leave him with you 3 minutes of his song. You can contact him. He's there on the screen. But until next time, brothers and sisters, do take care of yourself.
But Jesus